Well, the release day for the Eternals is here with early screenings for the Western market starting today. Worldwide release already a couple days underway, generating $8.5 million in the global box office already. Seems to indicate to me that the $75 million opening weekend is well within range, unless the movie absolutely collapses in the United States. That's going to be something that we're going to have to watch. It feels like something extraordinarily unlikely, given just how little competition there is and just how much goodwill Marvel has built up with people here in the United States. But it has now been banned by several nations. Eternals won't play in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and other countries, while hitting $7.6 million globally. And the number I saw was 8.5 somewhere too. The anticipated robust overseas box office of Disney Marvel's Eternals, which posted a first day of 7.6 million, will definitely not have several countries. The Eternals was originally scheduled to open in the region on November 11th. Okay, so not yet. In Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Oman, the censors were seeking further cuts beyond any scenes of intimacy, and that Disney opted to not make the edits, hence the distribution certificates were not issued. Now, let me say this. Congrats. I mean, I'm actually genuinely shocked that Disney stood by and didn't edit them out. I have to give them some credit for that. You know, maybe this is something with Chloe Zhao where she had this kind of inner contract, because she has actually called on Disney to leave this stuff in, which I would argue is, you know, I don't have anything against Chloe Zhao. In fact, I think I like her because she's spoken out about the CCP as a former, I think she was born there in China. So meanwhile, in Kuwait and Qatar, the Chloe Zhao directed Super Gods movie was blocked. The issue we hear may not be the guy-on-guy action, but rather the overall, these markets have historically had a problem with the depiction of gods and prophets, something they consider blasphemous. In the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Lebanon, and Egypt, we understand that the version of the film will be released that removes all scenes of intimacy, be they same person or different. This is generally normal practice for these markets. No intimacy on the camera at all. Back in 2017, Wonder Woman was officially banned in Lebanon. The ban was prompted by the Lebanese group Campaign to Boycott Supporters of Israel Lebanon because of the pic's lead actress. You know, I don't know. I don't think that I don't think those markets were very huge, to be honest with you. I don't think this is going to destroy the Eternals. I asked my followers, my viewers, sorry, what they thought the average user score is. And maybe leave yours in the comment section down below with like a brief sentence why you think that is, because I actually disagree. So you, my followers on Twitter, with an 86% confidence, with 370 votes cast, say that, 380 votes cast, that the audience score will be less than 75. That's extremely confident. I actually think it will be right around 75. It may even be over it. I could see it being 76, 77, 78. I could also see it being like 71, 72, 73. So that's why I picked 75 to make it a little more difficult. But it seems like everyone's very certain that it's going to be way below. I would actually be shocked. I'm not kidding, because I think that, you know, Marvel fans, and look, I understand it. Oops, sorry. I understand it. You know, sometimes you just want to enjoy some stuff blowing up and things going on the screen. Apolitical, unplugged from society. Let's just see this thing. Marvel movies have been providing that for a decade and doing it very well. So I don't think that Marvel has erased their goodwill. I'm actually surprised by how strong it's starting in foreign markets. I think that the $75 million estimates may actually be well within grasp, but it does kind of stink why I don't like it. And again, I've never really had anything specific against this movie, and I hope that the people who like it will like it. But I feel like Marvel got sloppy and they just started putting out whatever. You know, I thought Black Widow was mediocre, just like I think most Marvel movies are. I thought Shang-Chi, again, nothing overtly against that film. I thought it was kind of a weird release for Marvel. Not really, you know, all this before a Hawkeye movie. I know he's got his Disney Plus show. I'm hoping that we don't get the same bland formulaic X-Men, but I'm sure we will. It's interesting to see these new reviews flooding in. It's like positive, 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 positive. It's like scrambling quick. It's too late. This movie is and will stay rotten. There's too many reviews in with, what is it, 204? 204 reviews is at 52% rotten. Long, clumsy, and repetitive explanations abound. Pretty images can only go so far. Eternals can't quite rise to its own formidable goals. You know, the glacial pace of this piece makes sense given how much must appear for those whom it never ends. Despite the heavy use of exposition, nothing else proves as logical. These are all coming in today. Something as huge in scale and scope on the surface shouldn't seem this dull and perfunctory. At a runtime of 2 hours and 40 minutes, the movie drags at points it doesn't really seem to be going anywhere very fast. Well, I think that The Eternals was just, you know, I'm going to see it tonight, so I'll know. And people have asked for like a fair review. I usually do my movie reviews on Twitter because I'm not like a professional movie reviewer. I just share my opinions on them, you know. But you know, you see Tanya Lamb saying, "Call me basic, but I miss old Marvel. Oh, Eternals is not bad and will appeal to many. An unnecessary hookup scene makes it non-kid friendly for some families." Yeah, the hookup scene seems really bizarre. Like Chloe was like, "This is what I'm gonna bring to the MCU." Not anything that I would have wanted, but when you look at the box office, 8.5 million overseas is actually, it's performing pretty well. Fresh off the press, Marvel's Eternals has begun its global rollout, which includes North America as of tonight, with 14 international marketplaces, including South Korea, France, Germany, and Italy. The Chloe Zhao directed MCU fantasy starring the likes of Gemma Chen, Richard Madden, Kumail Nanjiani, Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek earned 7.6 million on Wednesday, with an additional 900K in previews for markets opening today. That is, in terms of market-to-market comparisons, 85% ahead of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and 20% ahead of Black Widow. Now, is this because the box office is coming back? Probably in part, as more people feel like better about going out to the movies. But maybe there's some mystique around this movie, and maybe like the critics, Rotten Tomato critics, are completely powerless to stop the MCU machine. Of note, it earned 2.6 million in South Korea and 1.6 million in France, opening 6% ahead of Doctor Strange, negligible, in November 2016 in Korea, while opening 12% below Black Widow in France, where 100% of theaters are opened with your papers. It earned 7 times more in Italy than the second-ranked movie, with 90% theaters open in capacity. I don't think these numbers really tell us much. They're all too, you know, negligible. For what it's worth, the sheer size of No Time to Die's overseas grosses, 500 million as of Sunday, shows that many of the markets have recovered almost on par with North America. What that means is we could see something approximating business as usual releases for the latest MCU origin story. We should remember that save for the lightning in a bottle runs of Black Panther, 1.4 billion, Captain Marvel, 1.1 billion, most MCU origin stories end up somewhere between 500 million and 700 million, with the caveat of Shang-Chi, 415 million, surely would have earned more overseas in conventional non-COOF times. Point being, even if the global marketplace is somewhat recovered for surefire tentpoles, that still means less conventional and comparatively poorly reviewed MCU origin flick like The Eternals should still look at Doctor Strange, 677 million, but without the 109 million it earned in China as a bar for unmitigated success. Meaning, so if it makes 500 to 600 million, they're going to call that unmitigated success. I suppose making $100 million is pretty good. I suppose. It still looks like business as usual, $75 to $85 million opening for the weekend for the latest MCU flick, right in line with Ant-Man and the Wasp and Thor Dark World. Post-release legs and word of mouth will determine if the film's mixed negative reviews will coincide with, equally indifferent disapproving word of mouth. So yeah, I mean, it would have seemed that Marvel's Teflon is in full intact, in full. It'll be interesting to see where we're at after Friday, because we know that Disney and Marvel pushed back so many of their movies out of fear of flopping. So maybe that means they'll move them back ahead. I don't know. If this, part of me wants this movie to do really well so that they push forward movies I actually want to see, but I'm not going to pay to see it in the theater for that to happen. I'll watch it at home tonight and let you know what I think. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.